Hey everybody, and welcome to the live show, the live lounge at the Las Vegas Open. I'm joined today with Phil, the Glacial Geek. How you doing, Phil?
Woo! Doing well, my friend. Having fun. I always love coming to LVO, and it's been exciting to see the new venue and kind of get a feel for how this is. And so far, so good. I've been enjoying it. So
I love it.
Yeah.
Well, we're going to be taking questions from the audience from the live show, but Phil, I want to talk to you about. I've got a few things I want to talk to you about.
Oh boy. Okay.
But the topic of conversation today is how do you become the all-rounder that you have in terms of representing the hobby, understanding the lore of the armies, and also playing. I mean, you're playing in the champs right now.
Yes.
But Phil, for everybody back home, or maybe they're sat in the audience or listening because they're playing their games, tell people a little bit about Phil the Glacial Geek. Where was your origin story?
Sure. So 42 years ago, I was born. No. 10 years ago, I started my YouTube channel, The Glacial Geek, doing Warhammer 40K, predominantly Warhammer 40K battle reports when I first started up.
Yeah.
And have generally kept doing through with Warhammer content. So I would do Kill Team, anything in that kind of realm. That's what I was doing. And originally, when I first went into it, it was all about just. When I first started, but even now, it's all about finding the fun in the hobby, because to me, this hobby is so much fun. There's so many different avenues you can go, from reading books about the lore to playing the game to building and painting the models, like all of it. There's so many different avenues that scratch so many different itches that I truly feel like this is perhaps the best hobby that you could possibly ever get into. So that was always what I wanted to do. I wanted to show the fun that I was having through my YouTube channel and when I was doing it. So,
well, Phil,
ooh.
I've told you this story before, haven't you?
Yes.
Phil was actually my inspiration to create a YouTube channel.
It's true.
I used to watch your show all of the time.
Yeah.
And I thought, if Phil can do it, I can.
Yeah, exactly. It's true. That's the whole thing. And honestly, getting back to that question, how do you become an all-arounder, is anybody can do it. If you just want to do it, just do it. That's what it comes down to. That first step, the first model that you build, that first model you paint, the first game that you play, the first tournament you go to.
Yeah.
All of these are always the hardest. Those are always the hardest. And if you can get past that, then there is no limit to what you can do. And just understand that what you want is to follow where your joy goes. So if you really, truly just enjoy the painting aspect, then just lean into it. There's no reason. You don't have to play at a tournament. And you can even come to LVO. They've got painting classes. They've got a painting contest. They've got plenty of things that you can do at these conventions that you can still enjoy the community aspect of what our hobby is without having to do any of them in particular. If you don't like to read, if reading's for nerds and you don't want to do it, then don't read the lore. You don't have to enjoy the other aspects. Or if you don't like playing, just go build and paint. If you don't like building and painting, you can get someone else to build and paint it for you, and you can just go and play. At the end of the day, every step you have to take has to be driven by joy, driven by enjoyment, because there's enough stuff going on in the world that is going to make you feel awful that you don't need the hobby to be one of them. So the way you become the all-arounder, the way that this hobby becomes successful for you, is if you are honest with yourself and do a little bit of self-reflection on what it is that you're finding enjoyment from in the hobby and pursuing it.
Yeah, for me, it's all the genres of Warhammer, right?
Yeah.
So 40K I play competitively.
Yes.
Age of Sigmar I play for fun.
Yeah.
The Heresy I like to listen to.
Yeah.
Old World I only play on the on Steam.
Yeah.
I play,
yeah.
I can't remember the name of it right now.
Total War.
Total War. I play Old World for Total War.
Yeah.
So in Lord of the Rings, I love watching the movies.
Yeah.
So for me, there's all these different avenues of the hobby, but for me, it's about doing enough of it to scratch an itch, but before it becomes a chore.
Yes, exactly.
And I would say exactly the same if somebody said to me, Steve, how do you get into fitness? Or, how do I, do cardio?
Yeah.
Always do enough before you get bored.
Yeah.
Because as soon as it becomes a chore, I think you lose that little bit of excitement, that love. And you end up with this kind of hobby burnout, don't you? That we kind of often hear about. Avoiding hobby burnout is massive, I think.
Yeah, and a lot of times that hobby burnout, like you're talking about, comes from feeling like you have to do something that you don't want to do, you know? And unless you're like someone like us that like sometimes has to play a game because that's what we do, like there's never a time that you have to do a thing. You know, if work, if life is just like piling up on you, do not beat yourself up because you couldn't get to the painting table. That is just the situation. That is just the way it is, and just go with it. And like give yourself the grace to forgive yourself for having those times that you can't do a thing, and you're going to be far more likely to come back to it than if you're just beating yourself up because you're not doing it.
Well, it's same for a tournament, right?
Yeah.
If you're not enjoying what's happening.
Yeah.
Then take a break.
Exactly.
You know, because I think you're really, you know, like you said there, there's all these aspirations, right? Whether it's fantastic painting that we might see in an article of White Dwarf, or a Golden Demon winner, or the pressure that we can mount upon ourselves, whether it's painting our first ever mini.
Yeah.
And like, for example, Phil, like you work with the Army Painter.
Yes.
You are surrounded by absolutely incredible artists.
Incredible painters, yeah.
Like we've got Caleb, Sam, these guys that are tremendous, right?
Tremendous, yeah. Like award-winning painters. These are people that are competing for Golden Demons and stuff like that. And I'm not competing for Golden Demons, but I was inspired by who they were and what they were doing, that it made me want to push the bounds of what I could do. Because previously, before I was part of the factory team, my entire painting was literally just trying to grind out units for tournaments or battle reports. It was about just getting it good enough to get my 10 points for a game.
And recently, you've just gone to an event, won your golden ticket to
exactly
World.
For best overall, because I decided to push myself with the painting. Yeah. And that was what it came down to. Is like I followed where I was finding the enjoyment, because I was being inspired by these great people that I love on a personal level, and then was able to just see what they were doing and want to try it and do it, and found out that, like, oh no, like, you know, putting my whole self into painting these models really truly left me with a sense of accomplishment and joy from the hobby that I didn't know that I needed that. You know, I always thought, I'm like, oh, well, I don't paint for that. Like, that's not what I'm looking for. But turns out, yes, like, turns out it was fun.
So do you find with painting that when you first start, a lot of people say, I can't paint.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And I hear that a lot.
Yeah.
Oh, I just can't paint. I'm not creative.
Yeah.
Is that something that's natural talent, or do you think it's a learnt behavior in order to become, you know, somewhat successful at painting?
Yeah. I do believe there is some aspect of natural talent. Like, there's some people that, like, they pick up the brush and it just, like, it feels right to them. And they're able to do things, like, earlier than other people just along those lines. But that said, if you're painting a Space Marine, you don't need that much creativity. Like, you just look at it. It's basically, if you could color by numbers, you can paint a Space Marine. You got the blue armor, you got the brown belt, you got the red lenses, you got the black bolter. It tells you what you need to do, and you can just do that, and it will look good and far better than just a gray model. And you don't need any true aspect of creativity in order to do it.
Do you think that some people, when they start painting, that they try to go too crazy, and what they may forget is actually do the basics really, really well, like you've said there.
Yeah.
Understand color theory, because the way that we look at models, like you take the Ultramarine, right?
Yeah.
You got the blue and the yellow.
Yeah.
They're complementary, contrasting colors.
Yep.
You've got the red lenses that are also part of the triad when you look at color theory. So a lot of the hard work has already been done for us.
Yeah.
And I think sometimes when we try to, of course you can paint your models in any way that you want, and you 100% should be inspired to do that.
Yeah.
But I think understanding the basics can just really help you then go on and progress. But
oh, absolutely. Like, the fact of the matter is that your first model is not going to be like some kind of non-metallic metal masterpiece. Like, and all the people that are in that contest with Virko's Vault, like, they may be making non-metallic metal masterpieces now, but I guarantee you their first model was not that. Everyone's first model, they're not going to be, it's not the level of painting that their latest model is, because you will inevitably get better, just like anything else that you do. You have to do that first model and understand like even just the process of what it takes to put paint on the brush and then the brush to the model, and understanding how it works, understanding how it feels. Like there's a learning curve that you go through it. But if you expect your first model to be like entered into Golden Demon, you're setting yourself up for disaster. And that's when you go, it's like, well, I can't paint because I didn't, it's like going to a sip and paint and deciding that like, oh, well, I didn't make the Mona Lisa. I guess I can't paint. Like that's not the way it works.
And I don't know that some of the people that you might speak to, you're part of the factory team of Army Painter, and of course, you must speak to so many people about the hobby from all the different conventions you go to. Do you find that so many people get so overwhelmed by trying to paint one model, but they never finish a unit, and they never finish an army?
Absolutely.
And I think for me, there's something to be said about a really simply done army when it's all down together, bases, rims, and very simple techniques, but can just, when you put it down and it's on the table with the terrain and the mats in your opponent's army, you get that sense of fulfillment, accomplishment like no other, really.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's why, if I'm being honest, I think the reason that I'm able to like push what I'm doing now and able to like compete and get like my golden ticket to the World Championships because of my abilities, like with painting, I wouldn't be able to do what I'm doing now if I didn't go through that period of just grinding through models, getting the paint onto them so that they look decent. And the thing is like the first one you make, you may be like, oh, whatever, it's painted, it's good, it's getting me my 10 points for Warhammer, or it's just like, at least it's not gray plastic, I've got the thing. You get that, and then you paint another unit that's just like that, another unit that's just like that, another unit that's just like that. And all of a sudden, that fifth unit, you're like, oh, well, that wasn't as messy. Like, oh, the paint wasn't as thick on those. It's like, oh, it's a little bit better. Like, maybe I'll go and paint the eye lenses. Maybe I'm going to try to, like, paint the little ridges in between their armor. Like, you start to see these things as you're painting that you suddenly want to push yourself a little bit more to make it a little bit different, to make it a little bit better. And then from there, it just keeps building and building until all of a sudden you find yourself able to paint a unit without, like, breaking a sweat. And then you're like, like maybe I can try wet blending. Maybe I can try edge highlighting. I can try all these different, like, techniques that take like a little bit extra skill, of that learned skill, not even just like, you don't have to have like a natural skill. It's not like trying to like slam dunk a basketball or whatever sports reference you want to make. I don't know. I'm a nerd. Let's be honest. So
people just slam dunk, right?
Yeah, they slam dunk.
They don't even try.
Yeah, they get that home run when they slam dunk it, right? That's what Mark says.
Yeah, there we go.
Exactly. Yeah.
Sports references from Phil. So Phil, I do have a question though about time management.
Yes.
Because obviously, you play competitively.
Yeah.
You've painted, you said you grind out a lot of armies.
Yes.
You're a busy guy.
Yeah.
How do you get an army from being completely, new in boxes, gray plastic, the pile of shame?
Yes.
How do you get it from that stage to tabletop ready? Being over there in the hall.
Yeah.
Without burning yourself out.
Yeah.
Because I've made that mistake. I do a test model.
Yeah.
Oh, and this test model takes me 8 hours.
Yes.
And I'm edge highlighting, I'm doing washes, I'll do a bit of weathering.
Yeah.
And in that time, I've done one model.
Yeah.
And there's no way
that's going to make it for the tournament. No, for sure.
But what unfortunately happens is you like set the standard for yourself of this is where I want my army to be and look like.
Yeah.
But how do we get an army to the table without burning out? Like, is there any techniques that you use? Tell me about, like, how do you schedule it?
Absolutely. So the first step you need to do is come up with what it is that you want to do. So if you're just going to be doing, Custodes, you might have like 3 models that you have to paint for the tournament or something like that. Versus if you decide that you want to do like orc boys, like you're going to have like thousands of them or whatever that you have to do. So understanding that like how much you have to paint is going to affect the time frame that you're going to have to give yourself to reach that final goal.
So do you think that should be a consideration for when people pick their first army to take to a tournament? Do you think that should be a consideration?
Yes, I think so. Well, if your goal is to do tournament play, then absolutely. Because understand that if you're playing like a Gene Stealer cult, you're going to have to paint a lot of models to get that 10 points to be able to play in that tournament. But if you are more interested in the lore of Gene Stealer cults, then you understand, like, okay, maybe I can't make the next tournament, but the tournament after, I'll be able to get an army built up
next year.
Or next year.
Yeah.
Whatever it comes down to, like, just understand that your time frame is dependent upon the army that you're going to choose to paint. So if you just want to paint enough models to get into to play in a tournament because you're just interested in playing the game, you don't have as much of a specific call to a one faction, then absolutely. If you just want to get it done quicker, choose an elite army. Choose an army that doesn't need as many models. And you can absolutely do that. Then once you have that basic understanding of how many models you're going to need to just be able to play in the tournament, you then have to figure out how much you want to put into each of these units to get to the final painted army. So if you want them just to get you the 10 points for the game, then the bar of expectation is far lower than if you're competing for best overall.
And Phil, do you do what I do? And that's, I want to paint a model, I go, right, obviously I get a primer down.
Yeah.
I get the first layer of color.
Yeah.
And then I don't even bother washing. I just start to block in a few other like little details in black.
Yeah.
So if I was doing a Space Marine, I'd do like the little, I don't know, is it rubber ribbing they get?
Yep.
Something like that. Do the gun.
Yeah.
And any other elements. So I've got the model, and I normally airbrush because it's so fast, but you could easily use a rattle can.
Oh, yeah.
Get your layer down, put some black on those different areas that you know are going to be metallic later on.
Yep.
In the next stage, if you put a transfer on, it's actually looking pretty good.
Yeah, no, exactly. And that's what for me, what I realized was that there's certain steps that you don't have to take and do just to have a model that looks good on the table. So for a long time, my armies didn't have highlights. I would do a base coat, I would wash it, and it was good enough because anywhere I was playing, there was directional light. I was never playing in a white box. Like I was never playing in like the soft light. It was always either like underneath high fluorescents that are shooting straight down on the table, or they're next to a window, whatever it is. There's directional light, and it will give you dimension just innately, naturally with the light.
Because it is a three-dimensional shape.
Because it's a three-dimensional shape. So you will get dimension in those lighting situations. If you're taking the picture with like flat lights because that's what you need to do to document for like an Instagram post or something like that, then you need to give it dimension with the paint job because it's not going to work it with the light. But for the tabletop, I never highlighted until it got to the point that I wanted to push my painting skills.
But what we've discussed there is a way of then you can still go back to it later on.
Absolutely.
And I really like that. I've never really thought about, when I obviously teach people about 40K and what army they should first pick, I like the idea of just buy an army that you want to just play with.
Yeah.
That it opens the door up to the community.
Yeah.
It opens you up to the experience, is understanding what it takes to compete.
Yeah.
And then you can still work in the background on that army you love.
Absolutely.
The models that you think, I really want to have this character, so I want to spend a long time in them. I want to have like a retinue. They're all, whatever. You can build that up over time, right? So I want to shift gears a little bit, Phil.
Well, can I just one other thing? I know. When I'm doing test models, I don't do a test model. I do a test unit, because to me, if I'm going to be trying to like army paint these guys, and I just want them to get it, like I want to get like a whole army painted, I need to figure out a scheme and a process that's going to work at least for a unit. So like you said, if I spent like nine days painting this one sergeant from my intercessor squad, like that's not sustainable to get it done quick enough. But if I can paint that whole unit over the course of like 2 days or something like that, suddenly it becomes a lot more sustainable, because that's 5 models down there.
Yeah.
And you can start to learn the process for batch painting, the way that it's going to, like how your workflow is going to go once you get into the actual paint of the army. So to me, a single model doesn't help me get into that process as much as a unit. So that was the last bit of advice I wanted to give about that. But
no, I like that.
Yeah,
I like it a lot.
Yeah,
because you can also write down your process, can't you?
Absolutely.
You know what's going to be your layers, highlights, if you go for those washes.
And also, if you go through that process and you're like, this is not giving me the models I want, it's not giving me like the whole, like I'm not getting the results I want or in the time that I want, it's still going to look good enough in an army that if you change the process and just keep the same kind of color scheme, it's going to look the same. I have, like, my Dark Angels had been painted over the course of like 10 years, and it's like my first models I started were with like the apple barrel paints from like Michaels or something like that. They were like the cheap craft paints, and then it moved up, and then as it goes along, like different paints I was using, different paint companies, but they were always like close enough that if they've got an entire army there and I'm not trying to win best overall or something like that, it looks good enough.
Yeah.
So if that first process isn't exactly where you land for the rest of your army, it's still, that same unit is still going to be able to be used. So it's not a waste. You don't just have to throw it away. It becomes something that you get to, that you will still be able to use in the army going forward.
I love it. So I want to shift gears a little bit.
Yes.
What's your mindset when you go to a tournament? Like, what sort of goals do you might set for yourself? Or do you set any or two?
So my goal when I go to a tournament is to have fun. Seriously, all I want is I want to get to the table, I want to try my hardest, and I've spent time crafting a list that I'm proud of, painting a list that I'm proud of, and I go into it with the understanding that what I want to be able to do is I want to be able to compete at every game that I go to. So I want to show up at the table and be like, I can be here, I'm going to play this game, I'm going to, that's what I'm going to do. And like when I go there, there's always a chance that I could win. But I don't set any expectation on the number of wins, the points that I'm going to get. All I want is I want to have a good time with my opponent and enjoy a weekend of just being a nerd throwing dice with friends. And they're new friends that I'll make, and I can just sit there and laugh and have fun. And there will be tense moments in a game, especially if it's tight and you're sitting there, you're like, oh, I don't think he's within 6 inches. Oh, I think he is. And you measure and you debate. You might have to call over the judge. But those are just like technicalities of like the game. They shouldn't like impact the way that you're enjoying your time with your opponent.
And just a quick one on that, because I think that can often be a little bit of a barrier to entry, right? Of what if I get my rules wrong?
Yeah.
Or what if my opponent gets their rules wrong and they need to question it? So we're in a game, Phil.
Yeah.
You don't believe what I've just told you is correct for whatever reason.
Yeah.
Maybe it's the measurement I've just done or the rule I've told you. What would your advice be to somebody to help ensure you can get to the truth? Because I'm always in the pursuit of the truth.
Yeah.
But without creating conflict in a way that leaves negativity, so you can keep the essence of fun without the relationships breaking down at the table. What would you do? How would you handle that situation?
Asking your opponent to see their rules is not innately confrontational, and it depends upon how you approach it. So if they say something that you don't think is true, if you start by saying, "Oh, you liar," show me in the book what it is.
Incorrect.
Incorrect. Like all of a sudden right now, incorrect. That is not the way it is. Show me in the book. Like all of a sudden now you have like conflict, and that's going to cause bad feelings no matter how it parses out. Because even if they were right and you were wrong, they're going to be defensive.
The irony is they're normally wrong.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the thing is like when they say that and they go, it's like, it does this, and you go like, oh, really? Like just say like, oh, really? And then they have to take that moment to think, and it gives them that second when they can catch their brain up, because sometimes we all get caught up in the moment and we think these things happening, and if you give that pause of like, oh, really? That's what it goes. It's 6 inches, and then they can go yes, or they can go, oh, no, it's not. It's actually this, and you go, oh, okay, cool, no worries, and then you move on. Or if they still say it and they double down, you can just be like, oh, cool, can I just see it in the book? I just want to see like how it's worded, because sometimes they word differently and it might make things different. And just put it as inquiring, because at the end of the day, you truly are just trying to inquire and get the answer. Because if he gives you the book, if they give you like the card and you look at it and they were right, great, that's fine. You've got no problem with that. You're not trying to catch them out. You're not trying to like gotcha. You're just trying to make sure that like the way the game's going, that it's going to be decided by both of your tactics and the dice roll, because you don't want it decided by things not being played properly.
Because I think that's one of the things that I find, that when you go from a casual setting, you play at your local club, you get really comfortable with the people that you play with.
Yeah.
And you have a lot more open dialogue, or maybe there's that person at the club really knows their stuff.
Yeah.
And you ask them, oh, hey, Terry, do you mind... Hey, Terry, what's the rule on, fights first, for example?
Yeah.
If I heroically intervene, do I get it? Do I not? Do I charge, but it is a charge bonus, but it's not technically a charge bonus? So am I fighting first? Are you fighting first? Who's fighting? I'm not sure.
Yeah.
So anyway, my point is, that can be difficult to do in a competitive setting.
Yes.
And one of the things that I think is like my go-to is, do you mind if we check that?
Yeah.
And then you're saying to your opponent, do you mind?
Yeah.
And then if you say no, you don't mind, great. Now we can go, how's the best way we do this?
Yeah.
Should we look at the rule book or should we ask a judge?
Yeah.
So it's not in a way that's confrontational, it's just, do you mind if we check?
Absolutely.
If they say, yes, I do mind,
Yeah.
then you go, okay, well, I would love to get a judge just to get the ruling.
Yeah.
And calling a judge over you're not like telling on your opponent.
No.
I'm not like, Judge Phil, he's a bit of a problem. You're not saying that.
I am, but
we know. Yeah.
But yeah, and you're right. And and at the end of the day, everyone who's playing in these tournaments wants to make sure, they want to win based upon how they're playing the game and how the dice roll, because that's what you should want when you're playing any game, whether it's with your friend in the basement or whether it's at top table at in the champs at LVO. The goal should be that I am going to be playing against you in this tournament, and I'm just going to be I want to outplay you.
Yeah.
I don't want to win by cheating, getting things, pushing the bounds, or doing any of that stuff, because that's not fun. Because honestly, at the end of the day, if you are coming to a tournament because you just want to win it, you're going to be sorely disappointed. There's 600 people playing in the 40K champs. There will be one person at the end of this tournament that has an undefeated record.
Yeah.
One person out of 600. So if you came to just be that one person, odds are very slim that you're going to do it, especially if it's your first tournament.
Well, and it's also if you start to put that as your identity, right?
Yeah.
A lot of people can go from a casual setting where they're at their local club, they might be a very good player, and you come to a much wider tournament scenario, and it's a case of going, well, maybe I haven't been to many tournaments, I'm not experienced as others, so I need to lower my expectations slightly. So, Phil, I'm conscious of time. I know you've got a game coming up in another 15 minutes.
Okay.
So you've got a just not to panic you right now.
There we go, yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Phil, I want to know.
Yeah.
What's been the happiest moment for you in your hobby so far, and why?
Ooh, man, that is...
Come out of nowhere, didn't it?
Wow, yeah, wow. Bringing that one in here. The happiest moment in my hobby... If I'm being honest, the happiest moment I had in my hobby was when they announced me as being part of the factory team. And it wasn't just because I was part of the factory team, which I love. It was the comments that I saw people say when they were like, oh, you couldn't have chosen a better person. This is great. He's such a great person. Like, seeing that kind of reaction from the community, from people out there who their first response is just, that guy rocks, and I'm so glad that this is happening for him, made me feel like I was doing it right, because I was creating a sense about me that made other people happy for me. And at the end of the day, that's kind of what you want, is you want to be able to go and do whatever it is that you're doing in this hobby and leave it better than what you found it as. So if you can go in and you see someone like painting a model, tell them it looks great. I don't care how good it is, quote unquote. If they are painting it and they are trying, it looks great, 100% all the time. So I'm not a judge at a painting contest. I'm just some dude who's walking here and looking at a model. They always look great. Every paint job I've seen where someone put any effort into it was always better than the gray plastic it came as. Yeah. So you want to go out there and spread that love, because that person hearing that goes, oh, my effort that I put into this is validated. Even if it's just that little bit of validation, they are going to be more likely to go out and paint the next model if you say that this one was great. And if you go out there and you just decide to be salty and you're like, well, your blends are a little bit off, they're going to be far less likely to go and try that the next time. You know?
Yeah.
And that's, to me, I'm always happiest in this hobby when I'm able to bring happiness to others, because that means that I'm doing it right. So...
Well, Phil, I really appreciate you. So like I said, mate, you were a huge inspiration to me.
Yeah.
And the first time I met you...
Oh, that actually, I'm sorry, I lied. I did love that. My favorite moment in all of this hobby was when we were on the bus at Heathrow going to the plane to go to Gibraltar, and you stepped up next to me and went, Phil, I know there are a lot of 40K content creators here going to this like invitational tournament, but you're the one I'm most excited to meet. And I was like, I'm sorry, what? Like, knowing, like, just, again, it's the same kind of thing where it was like I was a good enough person that I made you want to do stuff as well. And having that kind of, like, recognition from others, like, that made me feel...
You're still my favorite, by the way.
Oh, you're my favorite. It's just, like, so much, like, I tell that story all the time. So, you know, I use you as, my badge of honor there. It's like, you know Vanguard Tactics, right? Yeah, that guy.
Taught him everything he knows.
I taught him everything he knows. Or I started him down that path. So, yeah, that was with me. So.
Well, Phil, that means a lot. It really does.
Absolutely.
So, a couple of last things. You've been to the LVO a lot.
Yes.
Try and summarize what the LVO means to you.
Fun. Honestly, like I know I've been talking about it a lot. This like follow the joy, like find what it is. The reason I keep coming back to the LVO is that I always have fun because I get to see people that I don't get to see the rest of the year. I get to come here for an entire weekend of just like being surrounded by so many nerds that do the same thing I do. It just leaves you feeling so like fulfilled. Like this is our clan. This is our people. These, like, you look across here and there's so many people coming from so many different walks of life, different countries, different places in their life. Some have kids, some are kids. Like the whole gamut that you have of humanity here, but we all have that same like underlying connection that we are all here for wargaming.
Because we're massive nerds.
It makes us feel great.
Yeah, agreed. Right, guys, we're gonna got a couple of minutes left. Amy, do you have any questions from the chat? Do we have any questions for Phil from the online chat? Right, what colored paint do we think tastes the best?
So,
I've had a lot of not all in my time.
Yes, I was gonna say, I think probably green. I don't know why. It may just be that I've painted it more, that like I'm used to it. Because I am a dedicated brush licker. That's how I get the point on my brush. I am a brush licker, and my wife is a fine artist, and she is horrified by that. She's like, "Don't lick it." I'm like, "It's non-toxic." She's like, "But it is. It's like it doesn't mean eat it just because it's non-toxic." Like
you got to get a good, you know, I do the
like
same.
a piece of wood is non-toxic. It doesn't mean that you should go around eating it. And I'm like, well, what?
See,
whatever.
I think a good berry color, a good cherry.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So it makes you think you.
Yeah.
Oh, the psychosomatic aspect. Oh, so a good name. Oh, like a Blanche Berry from the Army Painter.
Like a Blanche Berry. There we go. From Army Painter.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll shill a little.
Any questions? James, your job that I gave you to do, it's time to do it. If anybody in the audience got any questions for Phil, we can take a couple of questions. Anything you want. Anything we spoke about.
I just talked about the flavor of paint. So the bar that you have to reach is low.
Make sure you hold it nice and close to your mouth.
Good. Your most is it on? Yeah, you're good. Your most memorable moment at any LVO ever.
What was that? I'm sorry?
Your most memorable moment at any LVO.
The most memorable moment from any LVO. Huh. That is a good question.
This one right here, Phil.
Wow. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. Like, this is pretty great. I say my most memorable moment, and I know this is gonna sound like it's like weak sauce going to the same thing, but the first year that I was at LVO as part of the factory team, that was my first tournament that I came to, like convention I came to with this, and it was just understanding that I had like my home, like finding a home at these tournaments that you can go to makes them so much more fun to do because you know that you can go out there after your tournament, you know where they are, and you can talk about like after your games and talk about it. Like to me, the best moment was realizing that I had that home that I could go to at these tournaments and find it. So find your friends, find the people that you're doing this with, find other people that you've engaged with online or that are like maybe you just had like a really great opponent in the game. Just carry on that conversation, and then you can see each other. And then when you see each other in the hall, you'd be like, "Hey, how's it going?" Even if it's just in passing, just that sense of being like, I'm not alone makes it so much better. And that, to me, was the best feeling, was realizing that, like, I wasn't necessarily alone and I wasn't just, like, other. You know, that's always something I've struggled with. That's, like, a personal thing that I've struggled with for a long time, is feeling like I'm just, like, other. So, like, welcome but, like, not part of, and, like, actually realizing that I'm part of it was probably the best moment for me. So, yeah.
Phil, you've got 9 minutes before your next game.
9 minutes before do
you need to go?
Maybe. I don't know. Did they do
Do you need to get to your table?
Let me see. If
Have a look
they've
at your table. Is there any last questions for Phil?
Really? No beard tips?
I don't think
Nobody?
they've done Barons.
Question in the middle here? Go on. Go for it.
What's your favorite unit that you've ever?
What's that?
What's your favorite unit that you've ever like built or painted?
My favorite unit? Okay. Character? Ooh. The Lion. I've been, like, I know I'm playing Space Wolves now, and that sounds like heretical because it pretty much is. But, like, I have loved the Dark Angels for the entire time I've been doing. The first models I painted when I got back into the hobby were Dark Angels, and I've been doing Dark Angels, and I've got like thousands and thousands of points of Dark Angels. And when the Lion came out, I was over the moon. I was like, this is finally the culmination of what I've been wanting from all of this. Like, you know, all the other models they made are great, but like when they came out with the Lion, I was just like, ugh, so happy with it. Like a beautiful centerpiece model that like did justice to the character in my mind, and I was like, this is great. So
Great answer.
yeah.
Well, Phil,
Yes.
you better go.
Okay.
But I
think
just
so.
want to say
Probably
a
so.
massive, massive thank you for joining me today.
Thank you for having me. Yeah.
If you're watching back home or in the audience, we're going to be back here at 1:30 is going to be the next show. And we're going to be touching on lore and what it takes to
Ooh, nice.
go straight in with the lore as well.
Nice.
So
Who are
that's
you
the
talking
next
to?
show. Cradruck.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So
Nice.
it's going to be awesome. Anyway, Phil, best of luck for your next game.
Thank
you so much,
Thank you for
mate.
having me. Yeah, appreciate
care.
it. Thank you.
Thanks,
Can we
mate.
do a selfie on here? I want to do a selfie. Thank you.